This is Darren Emenau, and this is making a mug part 2. I showed the basic cylinder here, and if you refer to my joining technique of how to attach 2 pieces of clay, I'm just going to speed through this process instead. So these 2 parts here will be scored and joined, and then I usually start at the bottom. It's kind of like zipping up a pair of pants. You're just wiggling it. And then this part you just smooth in. Now, I'm going very quickly here because this is just a demo. But in theory, what you want is the same thickness of your form, or close to. And on the inside, if you can see in there, if there is a bit of clay that was left over that you flicked out, you can just join it like that to keep it smooth. On the inside of your vessel, if you want it to be functional, to hold liquid, you don't want any rough edges or undercuts because things like milk will get trapped in there and you can't wash it out, and then you get some nasties growing. So on the bottom, you want to scratch that up, and I would probably do it a lot more like that. I won't do it for the whole thing, but for the entire thing you want it to stick out like that and like that. What's kind of nice with hand building is I just took a piece of that extended clay and it's got the decoration on it. You can put that at the bottom. I'm going to make this more of an oval shape, so I'm just going to tap the sides in very gently. You indicate where the mark is on the whole form. You just scratch a little bit on the inside, and again you would employ a lot more care in this step to really get a good fit. That goes in, and if you're dealing with a big piece of clay, you cut a lot of it off. On the inside you would have this. Can you see that little bit of ridge here? Can you see that?
Yeah.
Okay, that will be on the entire inside, and that part there you will just smooth out. See how I'm just very gently smoothing? This is probably the fussiest stage, but if you don't, you're going to have an edge like that, and that's where you'll get products, dairy products and citric things getting caught in there. So most of this form is all very, very tedious. And then cutting the outside edge, when you actually cut through a piece of clay, instead of sawing through it on the sharp side, which usually tears it up quite a lot, is you just score it. So you're actually just taking your knife, and moving it, striking it through the clay itself, right down to the surface. And that will give you a nice even cut mark. And you usually use the dull side, because clay will stick to the metal. So when I'm doing this part, I usually cut in at a 45-degree angle, and I start actually in the wall, and I push down to the table, and I'm just going to do a little section here, because by doing that you're smearing the clay. I can just touch it up a bit. So you would essentially go around the entire form doing that. And if you do get tears like this, you can either fill it in or just tap it together. Use this tool. Almost every tool that you use, you don't apply very much pressure. It's safer to start with a gentle movement, and then you work your way up, keeping that decoration in there. So I would finish the form like that. And what you want is, for this one here, I didn't finish the inside edge here, but I cut this in half to show you in theory that you want all the walls to be equal thickness. So there is a tendency for the clay to thicken up at this edge. So either, if you can hold the clay, you can cut it off now, or what's better is you let the clay sit overnight, and then it's the consistency of hard cheese, and then you're able to remove that excess clay. And the reason for that is, if there's a lot of clay, the thickness, if it's really bottom heavy, it feels very awkward when you pick the actual form up. So you want it to be a nice balanced thing.